Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing triangles. Now, one of my goals for today is to make sure that I'm not having to re-record this, so you're going to see me do a little bit of a check that everything is actually working once we take a look at the puzzle. Now, the puzzle, as of the time of recording, has got a phenomenal 99% rating, and all the comments underneath it have been just fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to playing this particular puzzle from Riffclown. I'm fairly sure we played a puzzle from Riffclown before. Certainly the name sounds very familiar to me, but sometimes I kind of mix what I may have played on my own versus what I've actually featured on the channel. So if you guys recognize, hopefully you let me know down in the comments. Anyway, what's more to say? There are lots of triangles where Sleuth is standing, is even holding onto one. Hopefully it's not just a bunch of triangular music and it's going to be something very interesting to play with. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with triangles from Riffclown. Yep, you can see that 3, and you can see me delete it. We're good to go. Rules-wise, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row. Every column, of course, every 3x3 box, so nothing unusual here. Then we have digits on a wide purple line form a set of consecutive digits in any order. So this is the renban lines. Essentially, it means that these 4 cells on the triangle have to be 4 consecutive sets. Now, it doesn't say that they're non-repeating, but you can't really have 4 consecutive digits with the repeating digits. So although these 2 cells are in different rows, columns, and boxes, I am definitely going to make the assumption they cannot be the same digit. So something like this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be totally valid. Of course, I could have 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still 4 consecutive digits. What I couldn't do is 1, 2, 3, 5. They're no longer consecutive. And as I just said, I can't have a double 2, even though it seems like I may be able to. Digits on a thin blue region sum line have the same total for each region the line enters, and different lines may have different totals. So essentially, this cell, which you can see is that corner of this triangle, is the same sum as these 3 cells. So every time you enter a new box, you cross this thicker black line, that's a different sum. So this is summing the same as these 2 cells, which is summing the same as this 1 cell. And then last but not least, we have adjacent digits on green German whisper line must differ by at least 5. So if this cell is a 2, for example, the neighboring cells would have to be 7, 8, or 9. We have an unusual thing today where we actually have been graced with a digit. So that could be 8 or 9. This could be 1 or 3, obviously not repeating the 2 in the same box. So that's all the rules we have for today. As always, to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right, where do we go from here? So I think region sum line feels like a good place to start because 3 cells that add up to the same digit, so add up to a single digit, this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is 6, no, hang on, this is 2 cells, not 3. Never mind. Okay, another school of thought I'm having is the green German whisper triangles essentially have 2 high digits and 2 low digits. Now, 4 and 6 can never be on here because a 6 to be 5 or more away from it would require a double 1 in the same box, and all the green triangles are in the same boxes. As in, they're in different boxes, but the triangle is fully contained within a single box, so we know that the digits are unique on every green triangle. Now, in box 8, like I said, it's been so long since we've been given a digit to start, so it's got to count for something. It's telling me that on this green triangle, we have 8 and 9, as well as 1, 2, 3. That's kind of essentially fully pencil marked, and it means that there are no high digits remaining in box 8 other than the 6, which would have to go in one of these 4 corners. Together with the 5 as well, actually. So 4, 5, and 6 are in these 3 corners, plus one of 1, 2, and 3. Now, this cell sadly could be 4. Essentially, I could get away with 1, 3. It could even be a 3. I could have 1, 2, and 3, and 3. So, aside from ruling out 1 and 2 from the candidates, it's not really doing much for me. This cell on this renban may be more interesting. Even if I have a 6, which is the lowest I could have in here, 5, 4, 3. So this is actually limited to 3, 4, 5, or 6. To be fair, so is this cell we just discovered. It's only removing the 1 and 2. Okay, I'm not getting a lot of things about this puzzle. Here's a bit of what feels to me like clever logic right now in box 5. So, these triangles have to have either a 1 or a 2 on it. To get to a single digit sum, if I don't have 1 or 2, the minimum is 3, 4, 5, and that's 12. 2, 3, 4 would get me to a 9, so it doesn't guarantee that there's a 1 on here, but there has to be a 1 or a 2. We've also determined, oh, hang on, they shared a cell. Let me finish the thought, but clearly it's not very clever anymore. That the triangle never has a 4 on it. So what I was going to say is that it has a 3 on it for sure, and one of the 1s and 2s, the one that's not on the triangle, but that is not even true because I could have 1, 2 in here and a 1, 2 in there, and an 8, 9 pair in there. Now this cell, once again, because the minimum here is 6, is telling me that this is a minimum of 3. It is 3. So the renban, no, it's not 3. It just happens to be that in this box 7, 8, and 9 are not available, but absolutely I could have 3, 8, or 9 in here because of this 7, removing the 7 option. Right, sorry. Let me explain what I'm saying. Essentially, if this is 6, we've already looked at this, 5, 4, 3, I can get away with as low as 3. The triangles can't have 4 or 6, can't have a 5, otherwise the neighbors would be 0 or 10. And it can't have a 7, so this is 3, 8, or 9, which is far less helpful than I was hoping. Now, it is actually helpful. That can't be a 3 because the neighbors would be 8 or 9, including the one on this triangle, and then somehow we're going to have to get to a single digit sum in here. So that is definitely not a 3. This is indeed 8 or 9, and then the neighbors are 1, 2, and 3, and this is another 8 or 9. That removes the 8 or 9 option that we have in here. This is definitely 6 or 7. In fact, I've just noticed that this blue triangle wasn't 3 cells, so that pencil mark was wrong all along. So it's only this triangle and this triangle that actually have 3 cells that add up to a single digit. Fine. But I mean, of course, I could still have 1, 2, and 3. So this is anywhere between 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I don't really want to pencil mark this. This is frankly making it impossible for me to see what's going on now. 8, 9 pair tells me these are not 8, 9. This is 1, 2, 3. This is 8, 9. No high digits in here. I mean, even if you can get away with a 7, you can't have a second high digit. So essentially the high digits have to be this way in terms of the orientation. It's 7, 8, 9. And these are another set of 1, 2, 3. The 8, 9 pair gives me my first digit. I don't know, like I clearly haven't slept very well if I'm kind of struggling this much. This removes the 3 option in here, places it in there, removes the 3 option from all of these now. So this is indeed limited to 4, 5, and 6. And then down here we have the second 1, 2. Okay, getting more interesting now. Well, it's always interesting. It's just like coming clearer what I need to be doing. 1, 2, 3. This is 4, 5, 6. On the renban, this is going to be quite interesting. That can't be a 5. Because what it's saying is that 4 and 6 are consecutive digits without the 5 being available. So given this is 4 or 6, what this is now telling me is this is essentially going to be something like 5, 6, 7, 8, or 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is either a 2-3 pair or a 7-8 pair, and the 7 would have to be up here, and then the 8 would have to be down there. Interesting. Does it resolve at all? Not exactly. Have a think. So 4 being a minimum tells me 5, 6, 7. There has to be a 7 on this triangle. There can't be a 7 on these two cells, and it's not here. That is 7. That's telling me this is 1, 2, 4. There is no 4 on the triangle, otherwise it required a double 9. Excellent. Where do I go from here? 7. So there's a lot of options. There's genuinely a lot of options in here. It's literally everything. I'm going to say including the 4. So 8, 7, 6, 5. There is no 4 because I have to get to at least 8. So there wasn't a 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5, 6, 8, 9 in essence is what we have here. With one of the 5, 6s there, which could be just a 6 and then an 8, 9 pair. Or this could be the 5, this could be, yeah, this is fully pencil marked. There's no way of reducing it, okay. 1, 2, 4 triple, been sleeping again, gives me a guaranteed 3 in there. 8, 9 pair, starting to very much hint that this is relatively low digits, because this cell is like a maximum of 7 already. But it doesn't stop this from being 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, this would essentially be one of the 8, 9s. I can absolutely hide it in here. No, doesn't feel like the next step. 4, 5, 6 is interesting. These two cells have to add up to 4, 5, or 6. And essentially, I'll end up with a 1, 2 pair in here. Kind of hard to see. 1, 3 to get to a 4 with a 2 in here. A 1, 2 with a 3, 4, which would match up with the other pair of 1, 2 to get to 5. Or 1, 2 with 4, 5, which again loses the 1, 2. And it couldn't be, it would have to be 2, 4 in fact, otherwise it would break this cell, because 1, 5 would give me 6, and then this cell could be nothing. So my options are actually fairly limited, and I don't have 4, I just noticed, and I don't have 5, because they're in here. So 5 is just, so 6 is off the table. 1, 3 works, which would force this to be a 7, which is very interesting. But that's not possible because it would place a 4 in here, a 4 in there, and that is not the case. So that can't be a 4. That is definitely a 5 now, with a 1, 2, and a 3, 4. So I've got 3 low digits now, including one of them that is definitely a 2. That is definitely not a 2. Therefore, this is definitely not a 3. Sadly, it doesn't resolve it entirely for me. It does remove that 5, gives me a 6 in here. Not 5 or 6, this is 8, 9. There has to be a 7 now in row 7, and it can only be in here. That was available for the taking way earlier. I don't know why I made it so complicated. No 4s. I don't know why I pencil marked a 4. This was always a 2, 3 pair. Yeah, you could say a lot about my solve so far. And then a 2, 4 pair down below, and 5 and 6 in here, 1 and 9 in there. We could pencil mark the whole lot. I mean, I can actually place a digit in here. I'm going to, that's a 4, that's 3, 5, and 6. Good to go. Right, not a 1. Gives me a 1, 2, 4 triple as well. So 1 is guaranteed in here, 1 is guaranteed in there. Maybe I should do a bit more Sudoku than I have been. Almost always a true statement. Still very difficult to see what's going on in here. Can't be okay. The shared triangle between the green and blue, for some reason it just never quite clicked. It just is now. To get to 6, 7, 8, or 9, remember the maximum digit I could have here is a 6 with a 1, 2 pair. But I can't have a 6 on here because it would require a double 1. So this has always been a low digit from 1, 2, and 3. That's another 1, 2, and 3. This is 7, 8, and 9. So we actually knew the polarity of this from the start. Clumsy solve today. Not my best. No 5. No 5s. Is a 5. Tells me another 5. Removes 5 as an option in here. Kind of useful, kind of... Oh, actually, yeah, is useful. That is 5. And then 5. Is that potentially available for the taking? Again, from the start. Awkward. Right. 5... somewhere in here, in these two cells. So it's definitely on the renban. And this is not a 5. These two cells have to add up to 5 now. So we know it's from 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a relatively low digit. But this has to be the lower one. Because if this is 1 and this is 4, how am I going to get to 5? Same is true if this is 2 and this is 3, how am I going to get to 5? So essentially this is the 3 or 4. This is the 1 or 2. I'm not sure I can do more random things like I have been doing. So these two cells are known, like this 7 and this 6, it seems. Therefore, this is not a 6. This is 7, 8, 9 so far. This is a 6. 8, 9 pair gives me another 1, 2, 4 setup up here. And then another 2, 4 with a 6 that I can't place. 2, 4, 6. Then another 8, 9. 3 and 7. Not sure. This renban is going to be an extreme in the sense that with the 5 not available for these 4 contiguous cells, this is essentially either 6, 7, 8, 9 or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 seems achievable. There's a lot of pressure in row 2, but achievable. A lot of pressure in column 8 as well. Essentially, I would have to make all of these high digits 6, 8, 9. The 7 would have to be one of these. In fact, the 7 would have to be only here. Interesting, but not helping yet. Am I going to have to look at this renban? Am I missing something more obvious? I am usually missing something more obvious. 6 is on the renban, just Sudoku. 7 is in here. 6 is on the renban. So now we're talking about it's either 4, 5, 6, 7, which clearly isn't, or it's 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 3, that is 2. This is 4, 5, 6. That is not a 5. That is not a 4. 4, 5, 6, sadly, doesn't resolve any of these. So essentially I have another 1, 2, and then another 8, 9. Excellent. Then I've got a few more digits. 1, 8, and 9. Seemingly no resolution. This is essentially, hang on, what am I doing here? There's definite 4 there. This is 1, 8, 9. Yeah, these are all just 1, 8, 9s. Not very useful. Is this triangle back to being useful yet? Really doesn't feel it. Can't even guarantee that there is a 1 on here. So, okay, let's think about options for 8 and 9. This doesn't feel like the right path. 1, 2, 5 for a 9 is off the table, basically, because it's not available. So it's 1, 3, 4 if it's 8. If it's 9, 2, 3, 4 seems an option. 1, 2, 6 is actually exactly the option because I have Sudoku that I've been ignoring for a long time. So that is 6 with a 1-2 pair. That is a definite 9. That will hopefully give me some of these 8 9s. Nope. And the 1-2 pair, of course, gives me a 3. These cannot be 7s anymore. That's the only place for a 7. That is a 4, not a 4, is a 4, not a 7, is a 7. Lovely. 8, 9 gives me 1, gives me 9. 3, 2. It's all kind of suddenly collapsing. It's very unusual. What? 3, yeah. Sorry, I was struggling to see what it's meant to be here. This is 1, 2, 8, 9. This is not the 1, 2. This is the 8 or 9. It's an 8. This is 1 or 2. That's 9. That's 8. That's not an 8. This is 1 or 9. This is 1, 2 or 9. For some reason, none of this is resolved. Is it? Nope. Then in here is a definite. Okay, it's back to 1, 8, 9s again. Up there, 2, 4, 6. Not a 6. Is a 6. Definitely a 2, not a 4. 1, 2. No 2s. 1, 4 pair. That's 2. That's 4. That's 4. That's a 1, 2 pair. These are known now. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. 8, 3. Sorry, that's not what I meant to say. Not 7, not 3. This surely is fixed now. These were, sorry, this was me trying to figure out options for what's going on in here. Right, this renban surely is resolved. Surely. I seem to be able, actually no, 7s are no longer anywhere. So this is indeed 1, 2, 3, 4. No 3s, not 2, not 2. 2 is in one of T cells, not very useful. Not 4. So 1 and 4, so 2 and 3 are in here. So this cell and this cell are the same, and then of course it doesn't help. No, okay. 1, 4 pair means there is 6, 7, 8, 9 in here. 7 is not placed yet. No, I don't want to pencil mark this. I mean, they're all 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9 has to be in here because it's not down there with this 9, which tells me that's 8, that's 9. That 8 gave me a 7. So this cannot be 7 or 8. This is a 6, 9 pair now. This is 7 and 8, except that 7 resolves it. That's 7, that's 8. That's really all of the variants kind of used. So we should be able to really kind of wrap it up from here. 1, 9? No, 1, 8. That's the 8. No, 1, 8, 9. That's not 9, that's 1. That's 9. 1, 2, 9. 1 and 2. Not resolved yet. 5, 6, 3, 5, 6. How is this not resolved yet? The 9, of course, gave me a 6 and a 9, and therefore 5. And therefore 5 and 6 gives me 3, 6, 5, 4, 6. Not a 4, in fact, just 3. That's better. 1, 2, 4, no 1s. So that's 1, that's 4, that's 2, that's 4, that's 1. I think I made this way harder than it actually was, and I'm just seeing that it's had a 2000 solve count and potentially has just been featured somewhere else. Sorry about that. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle, maybe the video, and I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.